of robbery in Portmore arrested. Police searching for suspects in murder of a policeman in Spanish Town. Four major players in drug trafficking trade arrested. Bahamas government to assess impact of industrial action taken by airport staff. U.S. House Committee demands intelligence community track Russian war crimes in Ukraine. JFF warns Donaldson for World Cup campaign. News and details right after this. And now the news in detail. The police are searching for suspects in Tuesday's murder of a 32-year-old police constable Jermaine Brown on St. John's Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. A man was picked up shortly after the shooting but was released. Constable Brown, who was assigned to the Spanish Town police station, had been driving on St. John's Road about 5:10 p.m. when his car was shot up by three heavily armed men. Constable Brown was found slumped over the stern wheel. His attackers escaped. 17 spent shells were found at the scene. Constable Brown's firearm was found inside the vehicle. Four persons said to be major players in the drug trafficking trade were taken into custody Wednesday morning during multi-agency operations in St. Andrew and St. James. A fifth individual found at one of the locations will also be questioned. The search continues for another man wanted in connection with transnational drug trafficking. Major General Basil Jarrett, Director of Communications for the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency MOCA, says about 4:45 local and U.S. law enforcement teams swooped down on 5 locations in the 2 parishes. At each location, the security forces found several persons, laptops, cell phones, high-end vehicles, and other equipment, all of which have been taken in for processing. General Jarrett urged the public to assist investigators by providing any information they may have, not just related to this operation, but in other incidents of drug or contraband trafficking they may be aware of. The St. Catherine South Police on Wednesday morning arrested 3 men suspected of carrying out a robbery in Independent City, Portmore. Sometime after 4 o'clock, the police received information that men traveling in a car had committed a robbery. A team intercepted the car in Marine Park. The 3 occupants, who reportedly tried to elude the police, were apprehended. Senior Superintendent Christopher Phillips, head of the St. Catherine South Police, said there has been an increase in criminal activities, including robberies in the division. SSP Phillips is especially concerned that a number of the robberies are being committed by teenagers. SSP Phillips disclosed that more females are also getting involved in criminal activity and moving with gangsters, especially in the Gregory Park area. It's now time for the Suncity Street Beat. The Suncity Street Beat is a feature that allows the people of St. Catherine to voice their views while keeping the Suncity team on the pulse of news. We went into some St. Catherine communities to let the residents voice their views on the missing social media influencer Donnelly Donaldson, her possible death, and whether her family will get justice. And here is what the residents had to say.
I don't think she'll get justice, to be honest. Yeah, she won't, and that's a sad truth because we're in Jamaica.
There will be justice, but I don't think there will be justice right now.
I think the parents will get justice. And my reason for this is that the team of officers like Fitzbailey and them, they're going to see that justice is served.
Yes, I think that she will get justice because it's evident that the evidence are out there already. And if it's not so, then there is just a bypass in the justice system. You understand me? So I think that she will get justice and she deserves justice.
Honestly, I'm with a policeman and I saw him abuse me too, so me I look out for anything. Right now around at the police station, me I go report him back again. Cause last night me have sleepless nights. So I feel say she dead. Or he make one of them friend do it, cause that's what they do. They say if them no want do it, they make them friend do it.
It's more than one females. It's happening too before, and in Jamaica, it's not always resolved.
Alright, so based on how the case is going so far, my opinion is the family may not receive justice because my opinion it's evident the JCF is behind it in terms of they are protecting him. But in all honesty, all fairness and truth, they should receive justice. So I hope whoever the family member don't stop, they just continue pushing so they can receive the justice that they deserve.
You're listening to the evening news right here on Suncity 104.9 FM. The time is now 5:08 p.m. Continuing the stories with news in the region. The Bahamas government will assess the impact of the industrial action taken this week by workers at the country's airport on its finances. Tourism and Aviation Minister Chester Cooper said the government's priority was to ensure the impact on all tourists was minimized. Mr. Cooper, who spoke to the media outside of the cabinet yesterday, did not explain whether the government financially intervened to take care of passengers left stranded in the Bahamas because of missed flights. On Monday night, the Supreme Court ordered BPSU workers to return to their jobs, contending the union was in breach of Industrial Relations Act. Mr. Cooper said the government and Lynden Pindlin International Airport put a contingency plan in place that worked to supplement the withheld labor of BPSU members. On the international scene, Britain's former Prime Minister Boris Johnson's recent resignation has sparked the search for a new British Prime Minister. Maya Chung tells us more.
Johnson resigned as party leader earlier this month after a series of scandals led to dozens of ministerial resignations. 10 Conservatives stood in the contest to replace him, and over 5 rounds of voting, members of parliament whittled those down to 2. Sunak won 137 votes, and Truss got 113 votes in the final round, while Penny Mordaunt, with 105 votes, lost out. Both of the final 2 candidates took to Twitter to comment on the final result. Tweeted Sunak, "Grateful that my colleagues have put their trust in me today. I will work night and day to deliver our message around the country." For her part, Truss tweeted, quote, "Thank you for putting your trust in me. I'm ready to hit the ground running from day one," end quote. Now about 160,000 rank and file members of the party will have their say, and in September the winner and next prime minister will be announced. From the Suncity News Center, I am Maya Cha.
Continuing with international news. As the war between Russia and Ukraine drags on, the world community cannot ignore the attendant costs that are racking up. The United States government is now adding something new to the mix: the advice of having the misdeeds of Russia as it wages its war against Ukraine to start making a record of the various atrocities that are being logged. Maya Chung reports.
The U.S. House Intelligence Committee on Wednesday advanced legislation that would require the intelligence community to establish a central coordinator responsible for tracking and cataloging Russian war crimes in Ukraine, among other provisions related to the ongoing war. The annual Intelligence Authorization Bill, large portions of which are classified, would also require the intelligence community to submit a report every 180 days documenting any Chinese support for Russia's war effort, including any efforts to help Russia evade Western sanctions. It would also require the intelligence community to assess the impact of American sanctions. The world we live in today is vastly different than the one we knew just a year ago, said Democratic House reps. Russia is waging a bloody and unprovoked war on Ukraine. China's malign global influence is rising, and human rights across the globe continue to come under attack. The legislation passed out of committee on a bipartisan basis. It must still pass both chambers of Congress and be signed by U.S. President Joe Biden before becoming law. The Senate High Intelligence Committee advanced its version of the legislation last week. The bill also homes in on U.S. national security concerns beyond the war in Ukraine. It would demand the creation of a coordinator to lead intelligence community efforts to track and counter the development and proliferation of Iranian-made drones, among other provisions. It would require the Defense Intelligence Agency to provide a report on the impact and utility of drone strikes outside of war zones over the last 5 years, in part to understand whether or not the policy of taking out senior leaders of terror organizations has the strategic impact of undermining the group itself, according to a committee aide. The provision was also designed to determine whether or not sufficient intelligence was produced before and after such strikes to inform policy and operational decisions, according to a release, and it would direct the General Administration Office to study historical classified information to help unravel the mystery surrounding so-called UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. From the Suncity News Center, I'm Maya Chung.
You're listening to the evening news right here on Suncity 104.9 FM. We'll have sports right after this. News in sports. Jamaica Football Federation JFF President Michael Ricketts has confirmed that Lauren Donaldson will be retained as Reggae Girls coach for the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, and that the federation will be drafting contracts for the coach and his staff in short order. Donaldson, whose contract ended yesterday, one day after the CONCACAF Women's Championships ended in Mexico, had urged the JFF to move speedily in filling the vacant coaching position. Donaldson, who led the team to their second successive World Cup qualification, wants to be the one to take the Reggae Girls into Australia and New Zealand next year, and called on the federation to act fast in addressing the situation. In other sporting news, Jamaica has lost out on the highly anticipated Mayhem in Montego Bay boxing bout, titled Mayhem in Montego Bay, the return of Sakima Mullins, due to be accompanied by the Jamaica Contender All-Stars, scheduled to take place in Jamaica on October 8, 2022. The confirmation was given by the event promoter Archie Keaton, international boxing and entertainment promoter to the Suncity News team, a short while ago. The controversial decision was taken due to what Mr. Keaton told Suncity's Maya Chung is a series of allegedly improper issues arising from persons within the local boxing association. An angry Keaton told Sun City Sports Center that a number of strange behaviors and utterances drove his entity to pull back from using the homeland of the fighters.
Organizers of the Mayhem in Montego Bay boxing bout, scheduled for October 8, 2022, say that they have actually completed the moving of the bout to Cali, Colombia in South America. This is due to alleged practices by the local boxing governing authority here in Jamaica that have dissuaded them from holding the bout here. International boxing promoter Archie Keaton, in an exclusive interview with the Suncity News Center, indicated that the highly anticipated bout being staged by the promotion company that he owns, called Archie Keaton's World Championship and Entertainment, have completed the removal of the bout to Colombia instead of Jamaica.
So what has taken place is we have begun negotiations to move Sakima Mullins' super welterweight world title competition to another country that's welcoming and another location that's welcoming. And we received the approval from the Boxing Federation or Commission in this particular country within 20 minutes. Not only approved, but with welcoming arms. So there's an 80 to 90% chance that the Jamaican diaspora will watch the Jamaican Contender All-Stars happen from another country on television because of a couple of individuals.
The negotiation to go to Cali was facilitated by a governor for the South American operations for the Keaton Company, former boxing world champion Danny Santiago, who is based in Cali, Colombia. The confirmation was given by the Colombian Boxing Federation, which governs all of the boxing activities for the country of Colombia, both amateur and professional. Mr. Keaton told the Suncity News Center that there will be some South American fighters on the event.
You think about the 75 security officers that are going to miss out on a paycheck, the 50 plus police officers that would have did extra duty at this event, the four pre-events that provide jobs, that provide, the hotels would have made a substantial amount of money through bookings, the taxis, the restaurants, because we're really in the mode of terminating the event. And because of the lethargic practice of the Jamaican Boxing Board, you know, we've hit an administrative window that, you know, if this event's supposed to happen, we can't do it now until November because they have purposely drugged their feet. And I really don't know if we can do it in November, December because of our planning schedule. It's a really, really sad thing that, you know, we have to either push this show back or cancel it and move it somewhere else.
Archie Keaton, U.S. boxing promoter. From the Suncity News Center, I am Maya Chung.
In foreign exchange trading news for Wednesday, July 20, 2022, the day's foreign exchange trading ended with $1 retailing for $153.25. The Canadian closed the trading day at $119.11, while the pound sterling retails at $184.48. That's it for the news update from the Suncity News Center here on 104.9 FM. Join us again at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for more news on this station. Please remember to follow us on all our socials. For Instagram and Twitter, look for us at Suncity104_9 FM and Facebook at Suncity Radio 104.9 FM. Stay tuned for the Heatwave Show right here on Suncity Radio.